Hi, everyone, and welcome. Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro along with Howie Roseman. Eagles season is over. Howie, we're going to talk about the offseason here. First, we are humans. We are Eagles fans. We love this thing.
Yeah.
A lot of your job is emotionless. How do you balance the emotion of losing on Sunday and then kind of getting into this process?
It's emotional. There's no doubt about it. You know, it's such a quick turn from driving down the field with an opportunity to go to the championship game to all of a sudden like that, the season's over. And then you got to come in and talk to your players and talk to them about what just happened. And a lot of them are free agents. And you're just kind of trying to take stock of we just went through this whole process, which really starts with our off-season program. But because our season went so long last year, it almost felt like seamlessly went from the Super Bowl into the 2018-2019 season. And so we really haven't had an opportunity to stop, which is a beautiful thing, by the way. And so you don't really get perspective, but I got a chance to kind of reflect a little bit Monday night, and I was proud. I was proud to be part of this organization, to wear this logo. Yeah. And I think about, Jeffrey Lurie, our owner, and really what he's done and the patience he's had with all of us, and the fact that we've won 26 games over the last 2 years, been in 5 playoff games, won 4, held the trophy up high to win the NFC and the Super Bowl. And that doesn't take away the fact that we wanted to repeat. We put all our energy into repeat, and we wanted to do that. But we have a lot of good here, and I've used this term before, and I think it's going to be my new term. Our foot is going to be firmly on the gas pedal this offseason because we like the feeling of the confetti falling on our head.
I heard an interview last year. Charlie Weiss, the former offensive coordinator from New England, said that after the Patriots won the first, this was in the midst of a struggle during the Eagles' regular season. They won the first Super Bowl. They went 9-7 the second year. They didn't make the playoffs. They learned how to then win the Super Bowl and kind of repeat. So, what lessons did you learn from winning the Super Bowl and then getting back into the game?
Well, one, you can't just pick up where you left off. You have to kind of do challenging things. You have to challenge a little bit the roster from our position. Certainly not on the coaching staff, but in conjunction working with Coach. You hear some of the things too that he's learned through the season. It was a learning experience for us about how to put the foot on the gas, what to keep, what not to keep. But the most important thing, and we saw this year, is you need the right kind of chemistry. You need the right kind of culture. And when you're 4-6, when you're 6-7, those things come out. And I'm proud of the people we have in this building, on and off the field.
Howie, the idea of maybe getting younger at certain positions and also still being competitive, is that a mix that you consider? I guess you consider it kind of every year, don't you?
No doubt. And you want to have the right kind of balance of having some youth because you do have a salary cap and you have to deal with that, and also having veteran leadership so guys are learning the right way. And you see that in a lot of our rooms. You see that, you look at our DB room and how those young players are able to play early. And that's a testament to the veteran leadership and the coaching we have on the defensive side of the ball. But, we're in a moment here, there is only reloading. There is only retooling. We are not in a let's get younger, let's rebuild. I mean, we want to win every year. And I see that being our philosophy for the foreseeable future. So every year we're going to say, what are the steps we need to be the best we possibly can be for this year? Now, we're also going to make sure that we're not sacrificing everything for 1 year, and we're building also as we go. But we feel like we can balance that and give ourselves a great shot to win a championship next year, and also not put us in a situation where we're sacrificing so much of the future that we can't do that in 2020, 2021.
Fans are watching, obviously. They want to know a couple of things. What is this? How would you describe the state of our salary cap here?
I would say that our fans shouldn't be concerned about the salary cap.
Okay. Number two.
You don't even want me to go into
Well,
that.
go into it.
I'm good.
If you're not concerned, we're not concerned.
Let me be concerned about it, but we're going to add good players. Okay. And we're going to make sure that the opportunities work. We're not going to use the salary cap as an excuse to not get better.
Okay. Draft. There's a lot of speculation about the number of draft picks. Like, in your mind, what do you anticipate for the draft? And how does all that calculation go into play
It's a
here?
complicated formula. We're certainly optimistic we're going to get a couple of compensatory picks. We're hopeful that, they'll help our team. But until we get that piece of paper at the league meetings and hold it up, it's hard to know for sure.
3 picks in the first 57 is a nice
start.
way to start, right?
It's a nice start. And we know those picks have to really help our team going forward. We traded a bunch of picks for players. Don't regret those moves whatsoever. Glad we did that. But now we want to get some young guys into the equation. And we knew last year, picking 32, we had gone through some scenarios. There were some players we liked there. But there was a group of players we liked there. And we thought maybe we moved back. We had looked ahead to this year's draft, saw that it was a little stronger at some positions than it was last year, maybe some positions that we anticipated we might need going into this offseason. So we made that with kind of one eye on the 2019 draft, and here we are.
How do you separate the emotion and the relationship that you've created with some very popular players who may not be back here next year? I'm not going to name them, but it is very difficult, is it not, to kind of just separate yourself from that personal feeling that you have from those guys?
Well, I don't know that we're ever going to be an organization that totally separates ourselves from players that are very important to this organization and this football team. I don't know that we want to be that way. That doesn't mean we're going to make terrible decisions because of that, but some of these guys are important, and some of these guys are guys that we'd like to see retire as Eagles. Mm-hmm. Some of the guys on this team, I was talking about one of our players yesterday, some of these guys that are on our team are going to be all-time Eagles. I mean, we have a lot of really good players. And so we have to balance that. I mean, that doesn't mean that we just do whatever it takes to do whatever it takes, but I think it's okay to be loyal and be an organization that is loyal.
The last couple of years, Howie, it's very clear that you've brought in players, whether it's before the season, during the season, that fit right into what the coaches are looking for. This doesn't happen everywhere. Why is it happening here?
We have great communication with the coaching staff, and I've said this before to you on and off the show, privately and publicly. Coach Pearson may be the best listener I've ever been around, and he's a great communicator, so it's very easy to understand what he's looking for, and then for us to make sure we're communicating that to the people that are looking for it and that we're looking for. And at the end of the day, when we're making a decision, we feel like we have a good process to make that decision. That doesn't mean everything's going to work out, but we feel like we have a good process. So the communication is good throughout with his coaching staff. It's very easy for me to go down the hall, or any of us to go down the hall and just say, hey, we're looking at this guy. Here are the traits. Tell me how we can picture him in our offense, in our defense, on special teams. And that comes in handy even more so than in the draft, in the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year, when the coaches are busy formulating game plans and basically we need a player. Mm-hmm. And we just go about trying to find that player, and the coaches trust that, hey, I don't have the time to go look at the tape on someone. So here's the guy, these are his strengths, this is why we think he can fit in. The other thing that's helpful is that we're going now into our fourth year with these guys in the same system. And so it not only helps the players, but it helps us as evaluators, as people looking for people to fit into the system, to know exactly what good looks like.
Drafts of 2017, 2018, how do you look at them, what they've been, and where they're going to be potentially here in 2019?
You know, the saying is it takes 3 years to fully look at a draft. What we've done in both 2017 and 2018 is we look at all the resources we had in the draft. So in 2017, the picks we had, the undrafted free agency, and the picks we traded for other players. Same in 2018, to look at how we use those resources, because that's how we look at everything. We just look at it, we have this amount of money to spend, we have this amount of picks to spend, how are we using them? We have high expectations for both those classes, even though we didn't have the normal complement of picks. And I think you'll see a big growth spurt from some of those guys who will have a longer off season, unfortunately, but a longer off season to continue to grow.
All right, Senior Bowl next week. As a personnel department, how far into this process are you? What do you do between now and the middle of March when free agency starts?
Well, this process really starts in May for the personnel staff, and they've been grinding. They've been on the road since really August. And so I think we have a firm grip of kind of what is available in the draft, where we are in a lot of guys, what we want to see from guys in the offseason, trying to marry what we see on tape to the testing, to the performance in all-star games. And then it's our job to kind of catch the coaching staff up and use it like a funnel, and to kind of just funnel that information down so they're not looking at, not knowing a little about a lot, but knowing a lot about a little. Guys, again, fit the system, fit what we're trying to build here, and then really know a lot about those guys so that when we pull those names off the board in late April, we're feeling really good about our process.
And then lastly, Howie, everybody kind of feels like they know what's going to happen out there, the media, the fans. Truthfully, decisions are not made yet, right? Like you're still in the conversation, seeing all angles, keeping all options open phase.
We don't have all the information. If it's a free agent, we don't really know what that free agent market's going to be like right now. We don't know who potentially is going to come available that we may not have anticipated becoming available. We just don't have all the information now. So to sit here and say, this is exactly what we're going to do as we sit here today, I think that limits your ability to be flexible, and we have to be flexible because we're going to look at every single option to improve this football team.
Howie, thank you so much.